this video blog, I'm going to concentrate on the changes to the Holidays Act 2003. What you need to know as an employer is that on and from the 1st of April 2019, an employee affected by domestic violence may apply for up to 10 days paid domestic leave a year to assist them to deal with the effects on them of being a person affected by domestic violence. Now, this entitlement to the paid domestic violence leave will fall due when an employee has completed 6 months continuous employment, and that entitlement then reoccurs on each subsequent 12-month period thereafter. Domestic violence leave can be anticipated if both parties agree to doing so. However, if you anticipate the domestic violence leave, it gets taken off the next entitlement due. An employee wishing to make use of paid domestic violence leave must give their employer as much notice as possible prior to taking that leave. Now, if the employer wants to check the eligibility of their employee to take domestic violence leave, they can ask for the employee to provide proof that they are in fact subjected to, or have been subjected in the past to, domestic violence. Domestic violence leave does not accumulate from one period to the next, so that any untaken leave in 1 year ceases and doesn't get added to the next year. So the maximum exposure an employer will have in any 1 year is 10 days per affected employee. Domestic violence leave is paid out in the period in which it is taken. So you don't pay it in advance, you don't pay it after, you just pay it in the normal pay cycle as and when an employee makes use of that leave. So how do you know whether a person meets the criteria or is eligible for domestic violence leave? Well, there are some definitions provided in the Act, and the Act defines a person affected by domestic violence as someone who is either one or both of the following. They're a person against whom any other person inflicts or has inflicted, so that's both past and present tense. So a person against whom any other person has inflicted or is inflicting domestic violence. Or they could be a person with whom there ordinarily or periodically resides a child against whom another person has or currently is inflicting domestic violence. So again, both past and present tense. So the person doesn't have to currently be subjected to domestic violence. They could have been subjected to it in the past. And that's quite important to keep in mind. Now, a child, under this definition, is considered to be someone who is 16 years or younger, who is not married, not in a de facto relationship, or not in a civil union. And domestic violence is considered to be either physical, sexual, or psychological abuse that was made against a person by another person who was or is in a domestic relationship with the abused person. So that physical, sexual, or psychological abuse must be related to a period of time when there was a domestic relationship between the parties. So those definitions should hopefully help you as an employer understand whether your employees may be entitled to paid domestic violence leave. If you need any assistance with any of this information, feel free to contact me on tony@McKoneConsultancy.com, or you can visit our website www.McKoneConsultancy.com.